Hi, this is Brett Payne. I want to talk with you about one of the most common and popular questions that we get at Contender Esports. And I want to kind of go through this because it's important that we kind of understand this together. And the question is, what about ROI? Now, you may be a person that's like, I don't even know what ROI stands for. It stands for return on investment. Or you may be one of the people that's like the most important thing that you're wondering about when you contact us at Contender Esports to get a franchise is, what is the ROI? That question gets sent to us or asked from us all the time. It's a legitimate question. Actually, what people mean when they ask about what is the ROI is they're wanting to know, how much money can I make and when can I pay myself back? Those are really two very, very important questions. I want to talk to you about that for just a minute so that it can be really clear how this works with ROI, not just in a franchise, but also in a business, any business that you're going to start. So what about ROI? How much money can I make and when can I pay myself back? Well, here's the simple answer. I can't tell you. Why can't I tell you? Because franchise law does not allow us to set expectations for you. You have to determine this for yourself. So would be wrong of me to answer a question for you on the phone or on a Zoom call or something like that and say, oh yeah, here's the exact number of the ROI that you can expect, because what you're going to do is you're going to calculate that and then go, okay, this guy said if I invest this much money or I do these things, this is how much money I'm going to get back in return. This is not investing in the stock market. Matter of fact, there's no guarantees in that either. It's not investing in some kind of security. It's not anything like that. So we can't give you a percentage of what the ROI is going to be. We can't tell you how much money you're going to make every month or every week. We can't tell you how long it's going to take for you to get your investment back. But I can provide you context for how to get those answers. So, and I'm just glancing down at the same notes that you're looking at right now too, to make sure that I don't miss anything for you. We've got a couple resources that we may have already talked to you about, but I just want to make sure that I clarify what those resources are that will help you in determining the ROI. Because again, we can't tell you what that is, but we can guide you in the direction, so at least you have like the Lego pieces, right? So at least you could put things together and work through that. We've made it pretty simple for you. There's not any legitimate numbers in there. They're all zeroed out, but at least we give you a framework for it. So the first one is our P&L estimator. If you don't have our P&L estimator, that's because you have not signed an FDD yet. And until you sign the FDD saying, I've received the FDD, we can't give you access to our approved applicant packet. Inside of the approved applicant packet, there is a link where you can download or make a copy of our P&L estimator. There's a password to it. It's not general knowledge, so we're only giving it to specific people. And when you get access to it, we encourage you watch the video, follow through the steps, work through the numbers themselves. What we can do is we can't tell you whether it's right or wrong, but we do allow you, if you're far enough along in the process, if you make a copy or share that document back with us, we can at least look at it and see if there's any kind of alarming red flags in there that might be incorrect. So for instance, if you put together your P&L estimator and we see that you're going to estimate that you're going to make $100,000 a month in your first month, then we're probably going to go, there's a couple things we ought to look at here. Or if you have miscalculated something, or maybe you didn't put a number in as an itemization for how much your internet's going to cost. If you put it's going to be $65 a month, well, we just know by default that it's not going to be $65 a month. So we'll make a suggestion to you, like maybe call a couple companies locally, get some numbers, and that'll give you kind of a better estimate. So we can definitely help you with that P&L estimator in terms of reflecting with you, but we can't tell you whether it's right or wrong or anything like that, okay? But we can get you to a very confident place in that. The second resource that we have for you to help you with your ROI when you're like, well, I just want to know how much money these stores are going to make, is I am a franchisee of myself. So if we get far enough along in the process, I can reflect from my own personal experience as a franchisee running a location in Springfield, Missouri, not as a franchisor, but as a franchisee, what things are looking like for us, and I can give you some kind of guidance in that on what to expect, what's realistic, what's not realistic, what realistic expenses should be, those kinds of things, revenues, that kind of thing. Because one of the things that we really tell people a lot as our franchisees is when you're doing this business, it is about executing. Just do what we do. That's why we have the location in Springfield. It's not a corporate store. We really do encourage you just to do what we do, because we're setting the model here for how you can have a successful business. So the resources available to you are the P&L estimator and my personal experience, which I hope is going to be valuable to you. But what are the real factors of ROI? Because this is the part of the video that I want you to never, ever forget. It's the most important part. There are 3 factors that really help determine the ROI of any business. It doesn't matter if you're going to be selling waffles, or if you're going to sell tennis shoes, or if you're going to sell baseball hitting lessons. It doesn't make any difference. There's 3 things that are always in play. One is the location, the second are the systems, and the third is the operator. So the first 2, as a franchise, we tackle for you. We have a real estate agency. We do the demographic studies for you. We're going to help you to get in the very best location for the best pricing. We're not going to suggest you overspend or anything like that. We're going to help you with all of that information that you need to make a decision on your location. You get to decide where you're going to go finally, but your final decision will only be based on approved locations. So the number 1 there in terms of your ROI, you don't have to be overly concerned with that. We're going to help you as a franchise to check off box number 1, okay? Number 2 are the systems. That's what a franchise is. So your ROI, or the ROI of any business, is going to be determined by how solid and efficient and effective the systems are in running the business. Our entire existence is about creating the systems, executing on those locally, testing them, and then providing them to you as a franchisee so that we can say to you, this works, go execute on it. We don't have systems that are relevant only to certain parts of the country, certain parts of the world. They work everywhere. That's why we test these things. So the ROI that you have as a business owner is very much dependent on the systems. And if our systems didn't work, we wouldn't be in business. So you can come visit us anytime. They work, all right? So there's no question about that. The third thing, though, is the operator. The operator is the most important factor in determining the ROI. The operator is you. We have no control over you. Your success, your ROI, is highly determined by how well you execute, you manage, and you operate. So there is a part of the process, whether it's in your own autonomous business or whether you are running a franchise location. The location can be secured for you. The build out can look fantastic. The systems, the technology systems, the sales systems, the marketing systems, all the operating, all that can be just perfect. But if there is an operator who cannot manage, and you cannot execute, and you cannot operate, then guess what? Your ROI is going to be terrible. That's the truth. Now, people, when they get into a franchise or they're looking for a franchise, one of the things they need to be honest with themselves about is, am I trying to buy myself success, or do I believe I can be successful? I just need a system to follow. Those are 2 totally different questions. I don't know the answer for you while I'm making this video. I need you to watch this video, turn it off, shut down YouTube, and go, this all depends on me. And you know what I'm going to tell you? Yes, it does. We've put all the pieces together that we can put together, but ultimately it's going to come down to you. So when people ask us in their first meeting with us or their second meeting with us, hey Brett, what's the ROI? Well, I don't have the slightest idea how good you are at being an operator. I don't know if you're going to be mean to people or if you're going to be happy. I don't know if people love you or they don't want to be near you. I don't know if you micromanage and it drives people crazy, or you can step back and you can be a leader. I don't know any of that. Now, what we're trying to determine in our process with you and looking at possibly awarding you a franchise, we're trying to determine where you fall in all of those areas, because obviously if we award a franchise to you, then you are securing a territory that nobody else will ever be able to get. You are representing the brand. Yes, it is your local company, but you are representing a brand that we are trying to grow globally together. We are trying to find the very best people to do this with us. But at the end of the day, there is a risk. You've got a risk on your side in getting into a business that you've never run before, maybe. Now, you can look at Springfield or some of the other locations and go, actually, this does work. So I wouldn't even be talking to you about if it didn't work. So that question of does it work, forget that. It does work. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. But the other risk is on our side. Can this person who we have done applications with, we've gone through the FDD with, we've answered questions, we've looked at locations, we've done these things, will they really pan out to be the kind of operator that we need them to be? Because if they aren't, then their ROI is not going to be good. They're not going to be successful. And our franchise grows and is funded by successful franchisees. We're all in this together. So the big question is, do you believe in the market? Because the market dictates how things work. Do you believe in the market? The market doesn't care what anybody thinks. The market is determining what is supply and demand. The market is determining what consumers will purchase. We don't convince people of the esports industry. We don't ever do that. You have to look at the market, and for yourself, you have to decide, do I believe the market is saying this, that there is a demand for this, that there is a low supply and that I can supply it? And then secondly, which is the most important question, do you believe in yourself? Now, this sounds very emotional, and you know what it is, but I have the right to talk to you about this even at this stage, because I went through this myself. Don't forget, when I started the esports franchise, there was no esports franchise. Everybody thought I was nuts, but I had to go through the same exact thing. I understood the market. I looked at what was going on around me. I had no systems. I didn't have any systems, but what I did believe is I believed in myself. And I think you're probably just like me. But you have to come back to that. You can't put this whole thing of what is the ROI on how much money am I going to make initially, how fast am I going to get that payment back. You know what? We're going to solve this location thing. We're going to solve the systems thing for you. It's already solved. You already have a prototype of what is happening in the franchise itself. It's just growing more and more. I'm excited about it. We're in early days for this thing. But the one question that I cannot answer at all about ROI is the most important one. Can you do it?